stops, no one knows. We're going headed into the unknown. Na, 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 na.
Hello, everybody. Happy, what is today? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Oh, my hair's like sticking out. Like, oh, look at that. It's lovely. Try to stick that little guy in there. Nope. It's going to come right back out for you. One's for you guys. Hi, everyone. So, yeah, it's been a busy day. It's been a busy day. Thank you guys for being here. I know a lot of people have messaged me, emailed me, commented on the live I did after after I was copyright stricken. And you guys are just amazing. I appreciate each and every one of you. Honestly, I know that you guys are probably more upset about it than I am. It's fine. Honestly, it's just what it ends up happening is just such a waste of. It's just such a waste of time. And I already complained that I don't have enough hours in the day, but it's fine. I'm not really. It's fine. Like, that's why I don't want anybody to be upset. Don't be upset on my behalf. It's an easy fix. I spent the morning editing the video, okay, let me back up. So when they struck it, it removes it from YouTube. But what I, after some time, remembered that I could just download it from StreamYard. So I ended up downloading it from StreamYard, and so I've been editing it. It's not done yet, but it crashed my computer because I leave every tab in the world open on my screens. So it took me a minute to get in here. Yeah, what day is it again? What day is it again? And then hello to all of you. Hi, Steve, Janie Lane, Mama Bear, Grace, Bean, hi, Wata. Hi, Janie Lane. Hi, All Eyes on Delphi. What's up, Chelsea? Sadie Neal. We'll talk about that in just a second. And don't, once again, I'm telling you, it's fine. I'm telling you guys it's fine. So please just don't get mad on my behalf about anything, ever, when it comes to that kind of stuff, because we'll talk about it. Hi, Dina. Hi, God is always with you. Thank you. Your name just makes me happy. Sweet dude. Hi, Danielle. What's up, Kilt? It's hump day. Hi, Kim. BR, my love. What's up, Just Deb? Hi, Brian. Chiquita. Sleuthy. Full scent. Hi, Steve. Jen. Hybrid. I apparently ruffled some feathers. People got really upset about my opinions and what I think of the whole thing. It's fine. Like I said, it is what it is. I'm not here to fight with people. I think that's an important thing. I think that people need to take away. I'm not here to fight with anybody. I've tried to explain this for a really long time when it comes to diving into any cases too deep. There's a lot of emotions that go along with that. I did it. I dove super deep into the Watts case. I was super deep into Summer Wells. And people just get really, really mad. And so I understand. I understand the emotion behind it. When I created this channel, after I left the other one, I created this channel and I made myself a promise that I would not get into these wars over a case with people, which is why I openly welcome all opinions, because I will not fight with people that have a difference of what they think about the case. I just can't do it. It's not productive to, I don't know what's going on. Oh, there's the chat. All of a sudden it just went all crazy. Okay, I missed a ton of you guys down here at the bottom. Hello, everybody. Yeah, because there's no fight, right? CW, I'm just like, I'm not going to fight with you. If people think that Richard Allen is guilty, great. I don't care. If people think he's innocent, I just don't care, because ultimately we're not the judge, we're not the jury, we're not going to, our opinion of what we think is really just for us. And I try to understand that people are at different levels of being into this social media chaos of what happens in a crime case. So I learned that. But if you go back into old Watts groups or you listen to old Watts lives, man, I was in there just telling people off. I was mean. I did it. So I'm not mad at people for doing it. I just learned my lesson, and I'm not going to do it again. So as much as people want to fight with me, I'm not going to fight. Now, there's a difference with the copyright claim. I obviously am going to fight that, because there is fair use, and in editing it, which we're going to talk about that too. I just want you guys to know, like, please don't fight with people for me. Don't fight with people on my behalf, and preferably don't fight with people. It's honestly, I cannot tell you how much it's not worth it. And unless you have some personal stake in the matter, the only person you're hurting by fighting with people is yourself. You're the one who ends up stressed out. You're the one who ends up upset. You're the one that's going to listen to what people have to say. I learned the hard way. You cannot do it. So somebody mentioned art of deduction. Here's the thing. I don't care if he's mad at me. He won't be mad at me, and then he'll be mad at me. I'm learning as I am here that different people's personalities, and it's fine. He can be mad at me. You do not need to fight with him on my behalf at all. And please don't, because that just continues this vicious cycle of what I actually don't like about the true crime communities is the fight. Yeah, I just want everybody to get along. No, I get that people don't like each other, but I'm just telling you, don't dislike people on my behalf. Don't do it. Because, I mean, if you really want to, I've got a whole list of people that I can send you to really not like. Because these guys aren't... Yeah, and there's art of deduction right there. He's a passionate dude, and he gets really mad. But here's the thing. These are... Every day we're growing as people, we're learning, and we're evolving. I tried to explain this yesterday. They were all very layered human beings. We all have different emotions, and even with a silly copyright strike, like I laughed, and then I was like, what the hell? And then I was like, God damn it, now I gotta go fix it. And you go through all these things. So when you talk to me at 1 second, I might say something here, and then you talk to me a couple minutes later, because we're not just robots. So I get it. And I get he pisses people off. I get that he gets pissed off at people. I get it. I don't care. I'm not fighting with them, and I don't want you to either. And this really just goes for anybody. And this is why I'm very open to having whoever the hell wants to come in here and just listen and chat or share perspectives or whatever it is, do it. If you don't like each other, don't like each other. I'm telling you guys, I still, at this point, even after now covering Delphi for this tiny portion of my life, I still don't have more than, it's got to be maybe 10 to 12 people blocked on this channel. All this pent-up aggression, I need to take it out on someone. Does the Dalai Lama have a channel? So that's why I'm like, but if you don't like the murder sheet, don't like the murder sheet. If you want to listen to the murder sheet, listen to the murder sheet. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe that you came in here and you said that you like the murder sheet, and I don't care. I can't put that much. I'm a mom of 3 kids. I'm a wife. I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. I got shit going on in life, as all of us do. Just when you get to the point where you get so pissed off, I think you have to just sit back and go, okay, what am I really mad about? What do I need to do to fix the situation? That's it. So that's where I'm at. You know, I think there's a misconception too that if I have a certain opinion about something, that I must be aligned with people. And I want to make it very clear. There's very few people that I ever speak to outside of YouTube. I have a very small outside of YouTube circle that goes with YouTube, if that makes sense. Like, I don't have alliances. I don't have these like law enforcement sources or defense sources. I don't have all of that. I don't want it. Once again, I'll go back. I was friends with Chris Watts' sister. That was a fucking nightmare. Let me just tell you. And it made it so I don't even like to listen to the case anymore. You're too invested, and then you're fighting somebody else's battles. So if anybody wants to talk to me, just know, like, I'm not fighting with you. I'm also not fighting for you. Like, I'm not out here going, hey, so-and-so that I talked to in somebody's live is my best friend now. I'm not going to do it. And this is why I tell you guys, like, all of the fights that you guys have with each other, they're not my fights. And I do not have the bandwidth in my life, in my brain, to do all the research to figure out who's right and who's wrong. So I like people that I like interacting with people on social media that I like interacting with. I don't necessarily care who they're fighting with. I just like to talk to the people that I like to talk to. And typically those are very like-minded people to me. So when I share my opinions with you, they're my opinions. They're not, I don't have somebody that's telling me that this has to be my opinion. Well, my husband might try, but not in this. So I just want you guys to know that. Like, so don't think because I state an opinion that all of a sudden that means I'm aligned with like 50,000 people on this side. Or if I state an opinion over here, I'm aligned with the 50,000 over there. That's just not how it works. I have my heater on and it's really fucking hot in here. So give me one second, I'm going to turn it off. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm like flushed because I'm like so hot now. So anyway, I want people to know that. Like, I get the seriousness behind the topics that we discuss. If people are pissed off at me because I talk to somebody else in somebody's chat, or I go to somebody's channel that somebody doesn't like, I don't know what to tell you. I will not make my decisions about my social media, life, or whatever you want to call it, based on whether people are going to get mad at me. It's never going to happen. So that's what it is. I like people in general. I like conversating with people. I like learning. I do not like just having people that are all, oh my gosh, let's all believe this. And this is what I was talking about yesterday. And it's ironic to me because what I was talking about in the live yesterday, and I am editing it, it will go back up. So if anybody missed it and you guys want to watch it, it'll be edited. Nothing's cut out except for some noise. But then there's a couple fun things that are added in for you. I don't, you're right. But I just want everybody to know, like, if you're here, I want you guys to know where I stand with things. Because I want people to know, to know me, I guess. But what I was trying to get across yesterday was the gatekeeping of information. It happened to be that came up because of what was happening with the Robert Fortson, Mark Cohen situation. That is one situation of many that I think that has to do with this weird gatekeeping of info from people. If ultimately we can sit here and say, like, we want justice for the victims. I don't think anybody that's sitting here is like, nope, we don't really give a two craps about Libby and Abby. Nobody's thinking that. Everybody, no matter what you think or what you believe, everybody does agree on that. And if we go back to that, it would make things a lot easier. But I was trying to just say, like, there's like a weird gatekeeping of information across the whole thing. As you guys know, I showed some screenshots the other day that apparently were from a Facebook group that the admin doesn't allow you to share the screenshots from. But I'm like, my simple question was, why don't you want the information out there? If this information clears up rumors that have been going on for years, why don't you want it out there in the world? Like, why wouldn't you want to share it? And it's not a new screenshot. I mean, it's from like, I think 2021 or something like that. So I don't, but that's the part that I don't get. Why is there even something that says, I get, like, you know, if somebody's in there and it's like a personal thing, I don't know how you enforce that. I really don't. It's just something. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying something to me about something to say. And so the conversation yesterday ended up becoming about Murder Sheet because of the podcast yesterday and because of the release of information or the screenshots that went out on Reddit. The live was over 3 hours long, and I can't tell you exactly how long the live was. I think it was about 3 hours and 10-ish, maybe 15 minutes, possibly, because obviously Sleuthy and I were still on, and so I don't know exactly the time of what it was, but it was over 3 hours. So I went and cut out the audio that was played. And I know that somebody who I actually really admire, Michelle After Dark, if you guys aren't watching her channel, you guys are absolutely missing out. She puts her heart and soul into everything she does. But so she did a video this morning, and she didn't get to see the video that I had done because she's in a different, you know, like 8 hours ahead. She was talking about, like, obviously she didn't see my video, so she doesn't know how much I played. So I thought that's a really good point. She doesn't know how much I played. So I went and I actually timed exactly how much I played. And if you guys were here yesterday, I played 3 seconds for the sound check, because remember the first one we couldn't hear it, and so I took it down and I brought it back up, and if you guys are all going to get to see it anyway. So it was like 3 seconds for the sound check. So that went up. The next bit was when I told you guys I'm going to play this part for context, so I don't just play you the words that I want you to hear. I want you to hear what they were talking about before that. So I played 49 seconds. So I had 3 seconds, and then I played 49 seconds. And then I gave you guys the part that was the important part, that the reason I needed to give you context. I played 32 seconds. So 3 seconds, then I talked, 49 seconds, and then I talked, and then 32 seconds, and then I talked. And I never played them again. So of an over 3 hour live that they tried to copyright strike and state that I only was playing their copyrighted material. So for anybody who wants to know how much I played, there it is. 3 seconds, 49 seconds, and 32 seconds. That's how much of the Murder Sheets podcast from yesterday was played. So a lot of people are like, and there was people in here yesterday, they're like, don't do it, they'll copyright strike you. There's something that's on YouTube, and really the world, that's considered fair use. And there's also consequences to filing false copyright claims and strikes. Because, well, let me back up. So there's 2 different things you can do. Like on one video I played, I think I played like Al Pacino in the courtroom, and he was like, no, this whole trial is, whatever. Like the Al Pacino clip I played. So it was like 30 seconds of that. And they tried to copyright claim it. And in doing so, what happens is the owner of that piece of information ends up getting all the revenue from the stream. The stream stays up, and they get all the revenue from it. I go in there and I file a counter and I say, hey, it was a 3 hour live. I played 30 seconds. It is what it is. Fair use can be proclaimed on a live. That's what I'm talking about. So I played that on the live and I went back in, and it's fair use. That's what it is. So it's the same concept, but you have the option to, if you want the live shut down and you don't want the material out there, you have the option to file what's called a copyright strike. This is more common on, like, let's say Dr. Phil. Like, if I go and I record a Dr. Phil episode and I put it on the channel, you know, like that, I'm not doing anything with it. I'm just putting out Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil can, you know, the company that owns Dr. Phil's show can copyright strike it to just have it removed and say, hey, you know, we don't give two shits about the revenue because they're the Dr. Phil show, and like pirated stuff. Yeah, like they can go and copyright strike it and it gets removed. So that's what happened with this one. And when people were like, well, I told you that they were going to do it, there's a couple things that I know of times that their stuff has been played that it is not copyright claimed or stricken. So that's the first thing. The second thing is they could have tried to copyright claim it, and they chose to copyright strike it, knowing that that removes it. The other thing is, and YouTube tells you like to contact the people and work it out together. You know, try to do things together and make it, you know, more cohesive where we don't have to get involved, kind of crap. They could have easily been like, hey, we don't appreciate it, we don't like it, but instead they fight, and what it ends up being is a false copyright claim because they said that the entire show was their episode. Like, I recorded their show and played it for 3.5 hours, which anybody who knows that that's not what happened. So it can be, and it's fair use. That's what it is. So I also brought it up so that I can go over it with you guys in case there's more questions, because it gets kind of confusing with all the intricacies to what you can and what you can't do. Now where did I put it on all these tabs? Everything got shifted around when I shut the computer down, so I've lost where I actually stored the stuff I wanted to show you. But if you watched Michelle After Dark's video from this morning, she does a really good job explaining it also. Nope, that's not it. I will find it. Well, this is one piece I wanted to show you. Since I found it, I'll put it over here and show you guys. What did I do with the other one? Yeah, it becomes more like a weaponized. It is. It's like a weaponized strike. So RESPCT. Find out what it means to me. I think that's probably more like it. But I'm not. This is why I'm telling you guys, like, I don't want anybody to be mad on my behalf, because apparently I just hit a nerve that somehow got to them, or there was. This is also something that's not new, and if you guys have been around YouTube for long enough, or even just social media in general, what happens is there are people who are like, ooh, I'm going to go over here and say that this is what was said, and then I'm going to go over there and I'm going to say that's what was said, and then you get these creators that are both like live and they're talking shit about each other. So did somebody go to them and just be like, yeah, you know, you should file a copyright strike, and that's just how it went? They probably, knowing the level of what their podcast, probably have a team of people who work for them that they may have done it. I'll be right back. Give me a second. Okay, sorry. My husband's trying to figure out what we're doing for dinner. Okay, let me share this with you guys. What exactly were their grounds for a strike? They stated that I played their podcast the entire time I was live, which I did not. But so they file a copyright strike. So the next thing that happens is I have to go in and I do what's called a counterclaim or a counter notification, where I go in and say, hey, this is what really happened, and I think that somebody made a mistake here. I can also just contact them directly and say, hey, I think you guys made a mistake here. And like I said, that's what they want. YouTube wants you to do, is to try to work it out amongst yourselves like grown-ups. I know it's interesting. It's a new concept. Here. So I don't know if you guys can see that. So you can submit it, and so you have to, it says, like, keep in mind, only submit a counter notification if your content was removed due to a mistake or a misidentification. And this includes exceptions to copyright, such as cases of fair use or fair dealing. If your content doesn't fit the criteria above, you can wait 90 days, blah, blah, blah. Here's the bottom part, what talks about submitting copyright claims. It says, do not submit false information. Misuse of our processes, such as submitting fraudulent documentation, may result in the termination of your account or other legal consequences. So once I submit this, then it goes back to them. If we don't work it out like adults first, and I have to go here and I have to submit this and whatnot, it goes back to them. The next step that they have to take is to make it legal. So they have to take me to court claiming that I stole copyrighted material and used it however. So I mean, I guess that if that's what they wanted to do, I don't know what they actually know happened. This is what I'm saying. Did somebody just message to them and say, hey, I don't know the whole thing. So I'm going to do the grown-up thing. I'm going to send them an email and just say, hey, I'm not sure how this all transpired, but this is the actual case. Here's the video if you'd like to go back and look at it. And if nothing happens, then I have the time to file the counterclaim where it has to go through here, because by filing the false information, which states that I did something that I did not do and is easily proven that I did not do, also can result in legal ramifications for them. Not to mention losing their YouTube channel, which I don't think they care too much about. I don't think they even use it anymore. So it is what it is. That's where we're at. That's what I'm doing. There's nothing really else to it. The video's being edited. The biggest issue when it goes back up is losing the live chat, which I always feel bad for you guys because I'm not always the best at putting everything on the screen. And not to mention, you don't get to see the conversations that are in the live chat, which when I'm on replay, I enjoy seeing. So when it goes back up, it won't be there. And then there's nothing I can do about that. It just doesn't have the comments with it. And that's fine. I mean, like I said, this channel might not be big, but I'm not new to the rodeo of how true crime people function and how they work. And the bottom line is the truth is the truth, and that comes to any situation. The truth isn't going to change. Your perception of what you see or what you hear or what you think might, but the actual truth of a situation doesn't change. And the truth is I played 3 seconds, 49 seconds, and 32 seconds out of an over 3-hour live. If that's something that they feel does not fall under fair use, then I guess we'll be in court. And I'm not worried about it because, once again, it doesn't make sense. I'm not here to fight with everybody. So, do a replay party. I should probably do it. You know what, Jiu-Jitsu? Maybe I will do it as a premiere. You know, a premiere, you can post it and it, then everybody can come in and it's like a live chat and you guys can all comment while their premiere's going on. That's only because I talk on there a lot. I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know anything about their personal lives. I don't know anything about most people on here's personal lives. I don't necessarily want to. I'm not trying to figure out everybody, like who everybody, I have a friend of mine that I have talked to on social media. I say like a friend because obviously I've known this person quite a while. She has an alt name on YouTube. I don't know her real name. But we're very friendly. She's one of the nicest people I've ever met. And I've never asked her her real name because it doesn't change anything. Doesn't change the way we talk. Nothing. So I'm not trying to figure out who everybody necessarily is. Now, if you start doing things that I think are nefarious, I can understand why people want to figure that stuff out. Now, I don't know if they've done anything nefarious. Do I have suspicions? Yes. Do I have proof? No, I don't. So I'm not going to come out here and commit libel or slander or any of those things because I don't know that yet. It's still something that is possible, and it's something that's possibly that it's not true. I don't know. So this brings me to talking about what happened today. Let me get rid of this. And just for your information, I won't be playing their podcast. So silly. They act from emotion. Well, that's very common. That's why I'm saying it's very common that everybody acts from emotion. Like I think a lot of just people in general do. And I mean, of course I did. Like as soon as the strike happens, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell? Like, and then, I'm laughing and then I'm like, God, now I got to fix it. And like such a waste of time. And then you just got to go, in the scheme of my life, this is not worth it. It's Christmas time. My kids, they're not going to stay little forever. And this is my first Christmas without my dad, and my dad loved Christmas. I'm struggling with that. So things are happening that create emotions around everybody. And this is the epitome of why I say, like, we're not one-dimensional people that sit on a screen. We are human. And I know that it goes back and forth because then here I am going, okay, Murder Sheet, what the fuck are you guys talking about? I get it. I get why everybody's back and forth. So I want to talk about this part next, though, because I felt like yesterday with the podcast that they put out, it was a very big lead into more of what they wanted to talk about today. And it goes to, is it Georgia? I can't talk about it too much because then I'll cry and then we're going to end up in a totally different situation. Yeah, we're all humans. We all have emotions. We all have flaws. We all screw up. We all try to learn from it and we try to do better. I just think that we just don't give each other the benefit of the doubt enough. And that's one thing, like I said, I've really tried to change the way that I look at things when I started this channel. So that's where I'm at. And that's about as honest as I can be about all of it. So yesterday I felt like they were the big lead in was to what was going on today. And the podcast yesterday was like a half hour and today's is like an hour. I did not agree with what happened today. Is it Richard? Oh my gosh, that's tough. You guys got to stop talking about it though. You guys are going to get upset. I'm going to get upset, and then we're going to have to change this live into that we're crying over Christmas with how much we miss our people. They talked at normal speed. So it's just so crazy to me that it's been so long. And Shmita comes in and does these too, and I'm just like, I can't believe we've been doing this for so long. And Sluice Investigate, like she's been one of my people for years. Hi, Kay. Hi. I know I did not get to say hi to everybody individually today. I see you. I appreciate you. And for anybody who's struggling over the holiday season, it's the most depressing time of the year. Ironically, it's also one of the happiest times of the year, but it's very complicated. It's very hard to It's just very hard. So, if you're struggling, just know, like, you're not alone, that there's people are struggling. There's other people struggling. Everybody's here together. We're all trying to fight the same fight, and it's just called life. We're all playing this crazy ass game of life, and that's just how it is. And it sucks sometimes, and it's wonderful other times. And just know that even if it sucks right now, it will be wonderful again. Group hug to everybody. Group hug. Okay. All right. And if you guys keep commenting on it, I'm going to have to ignore it because I'm like on the verge. So we're going back over here to this topic. On with the show. I have to go on with the show. Where was I going? Oh, to my phone. That's where I was going. So the episode today, it started off with a disclaimer that I found odd, specifically because of what we talked about yesterday. So yesterday we talked about that they decided to change around the information in the text messages. I don't know how much it was changed. I don't know. They summarized it. They they put their own spin out. I don't know exactly what happened or why they made the decision to do that. But obviously they made that decision. It was their choice. It's their podcast. They can do what they want. So they made the decision to summarize these screenshots and didn't just read them verbatim. Caused a lot of confusion, in my opinion. But, it is what it is. Then they decide that they're not going to say the name of this person in a position of power. I don't remember the right terminology that they used. But that they were not going to say this person's name, who was like a public figure, I think is actually what they said. They refused to say that person's name because they didn't want to lead into the I don't even know what they call it. This is why I play the shit, because then I can tell you exactly what they said. Hold on. I don't know. Why would you do that? Weird. What happened, C-Dub? Group hug to everyone except people who live in SoCal. They have no excuse to be miserable. That's me. I live in SoCal. Merry Christmas, everyone. Dr. G. Are we allowed to even talk? I think so. I don't know. They can't. You can't stop people from talking about it. This is why I tell you guys, people can, if that's what they do, that's what they do. I can't do anything about it. I'm not going to fight with people to not say my name or anything like that. It's different when you have a personal relationship with somebody and a history that I have with other people in my life, and they say something. It's different than somebody who is in a social media circle like this. So this is why I understand the history, that there is history. I just don't know what it is, and I can't choose sides, and I don't really want to. But back on topic. So they said they weren't going to tell the name of this public figure that they that was mentioned in these screenshots. Why they chose to not say the name, my opinion, because they have a biased / reason to be leaning more towards the prosecution and the fact that they believe that Richard Allen is guilty. And that's fine. I don't care. I just find it weird to even bring it up then. To show you're not going to say it. And the reason that I struggle with it is because then you have the podcast from today. And I have this written because I can't play it for you. So, in fact, this is quotes. In fact, we won't be using any of the online aliases as a subject of this episode. We made that choice because naming the names they go under online would only help them market themselves, and we wish to deprive them of that opportunity. But we will still tend to feel that way, that the public deserves to know exactly what is going on in such extraordinary lengths to harass, stalk others, as well as attempt to set the narrative by using highly dubious methods. Like what? Hi, Prof. So they will not use the names that the people go use on social media. So I'm not going to use Sleuths Investigate. I'm going to use her real name because it's already public. It's already a public figure. It's already a public name. And I'm not really doing that, but I'm just saying because I don't want Sleuths to have anybody else looking for her. That is literally the definition of doxing. When you're using, they say, well, these names are already public. They're already public out on these public platforms. Okay, that's the way that you want to go. Then I'm very confused on the opposite side why you actually have a public figure that you refuse to name. I don't get that. That makes no sense to me. Why in the world would they, if we're putting names out there, and you guys know I'm pretty good. I have no problem with putting names out there that are in public documents. I'm fine with it. But it was and instead of just saying, hey, these are already names that are named in a public document, there was a whole narrative that had to go around that. And this is what I'm struggling with when it comes to this particular podcast, because I feel like, no, why? I'm not there yet. Just hold on. Give me a second, Frank. Just give me a minute. I'm not there yet. You're going way further down the line. I'm not there yet. You got to give me a minute. So we won't use their online aliases as a subject of this episode. But we will say their full names because they're in public documents. Now, here's the thing. The whole saying of like what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Why are we picking and choosing who the enemy is or what the enemy is or how we're going to approach that? This is, I think, Sleuthy was kind of talking about this yesterday. Is it the person that becomes what is getting attacked, or is it the belief or the method of that person's, the way they do things? Is what's actually the problem? So do they not like these people? I was going to pull this up. I don't even know. I'm probably not allowed to do this either, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Mommy, have you seen my dad?
Hold on, you guys.
Have you seen my dad?
I have. Apparently, he lost his dad, so he had to find him. Oh shit! What was I saying? Give me a second. Let me get back in there. We actually have a problem. Yeah, what do you actually have a problem with? Is it the person? Is it what they believe? Is it those things? So I just want people to think about if you believe something about, and I don't want to go too extreme because then it'll just start a war in chat, but I just want to say, let's say you practice a certain religion, but your neighbor doesn't practice that religion and actually practices a different religion. Are you not allowed to like ever talk to them, or is it because you don't like their belief? So that's the thing. Now, is it about the person? Now, I don't know the history here. So this is where I struggle. And I know that I think this is probably what Frank is getting upset about, is because people like to tell me the history, but I don't have anything that backs it up. Now, they posted a bunch of screenshots. They stated a bunch of claims, But they also stated yesterday that they're talking about legal things such as slander and libel, and then turn around today and very strategically say things to not get hit with slander and libel. It's very hypocritical to me. So, yeah, there's a reason. So I'm like, I don't want to go too far, but I'm just, because that's how I'm like, that's extreme and I get it. But I'm just trying to show you the point. Like, I can still talk to my neighbor. It doesn't matter what they believe. That's why I can still talk to you guys, whether you think Richard Allen is innocent or guilty. And the reason I say that the religion is so much more extreme is because one of the reasons I feel this way is the next case that happens, all those people right now that think that Richard Allen is guilty may agree with me on another case, or all the ones who, whatever, we're going to disagree on this case and then we're going to agree on another case. So I try to be around people that I enjoy talking to, or that, I can have a conversation with or a debate with. And this is the thing, like with Frank, like, I get his passion, and I know there's people who don't like him. I know he doesn't like people. I get it. I get his passion that he thinks that he's putting out into the world the facts. I get that, and I wish Christine was here. Sleuth Investigates, are you still here? People, because none of these creators, that cover the case, they don't know me either, no more than I know them. And so I am somebody, I really, really like receipts. Okay, so you can speak to this. I just really like receipts. So, Christine's somebody who I made a joke about yesterday, who she literally solves the Delphi case like every other week, and she comes to me with a new perpetrator, and we just kind of we laugh because she figures all these things out, and I'm like, I could literally do a live every day for the next year on every solve that she's ever done, and people would go, holy shit, that's probably right, because it makes so much sense. But every time I'm like, okay, well, how did you get from point A to point B? How did you get from, how does this connect from here to here? What is the connection? My brain just doesn't, I don't just go, okay, well, somebody told me that, so now that's how it is. I don't function that way. And I'm sure that frustrates people. And so one of the comments was, well, like, I've told you about this, and I get it, and I listen, and I care what is being said to me. I care about people. So I'm listening, but I have to have a tangible from A to B to see how we got here. You guys haven't seen how my brain doesn't work without it. I mean, I literally have created this to try to put all that together, because that's how my brain needs it to be for me to understand it. So there was claims that were made, in the podcast. I don't know if they're true. I have no idea. That's why I said I'm not like hiding in the background going, oh my gosh, did somebody call so-and-so an alcoholic? And if you did, does it matter? Are you an alcoholic? Is it really? I don't know. So I don't have an opinion, because I don't know. And I don't have any, so I have no thought on it, because I just, does it even matter? I mean, if people wanted to go through like all the things that people on social media have called me since I've been on social media, we might be here a while. This is where I'm getting it. Yeah, just freeballing, sweetie. I'm just freeballing. That's really what it is. So do I screw up? Yeah. I make mistakes? Hell yeah. Do I try to come back on here and be like, holy shit, that wasn't right, let me tell you the right thing, and I try to fix it, but I just don't. And I think, Sleuthy, you are very much like that too, and I think that's probably why we get along really well. And I know that there's a lot of slack that's given, because that's just how the brain works, and that's probably one of the reasons I ever even started talking to Sleuthy. She had made this beautiful Quentin Simon timeline that just was what I needed in my life. And I was like, this is my person. I love spreadsheets. I love timelines. I love sources. I want to put it all together. So just know, like, it's not that I'm not listening to you, and it's also not that I don't believe you. I need more. What did Sleuth say up here? Hold on, let me go back to it. Yeah, it frustrates me. And, you know, it's tough, Lisa, too, because, you know, another thing that you learn is that sometimes that shit can't even be trusted half the time. And that's why I'm like, I just want the full context. I want all of it. So I'm not pissed off at people. I'm frustrated with it. And I can't imagine. I followed this case on and off for years. So I knew about the case when it happened. I wasn't on social media really at the time. I was, I just had my baby, so on and so forth. I really got involved with social media cases when the Watts case happened at the end of 2018. And then beginning of 2019, I sat down and, like I said, I'd watched anything there was on Delphi. I just didn't know the social media side of it. And so the 2019 presser happened, and I was like, wait a minute. This doesn't make a lot of sense. And now I was already involved in true crime on social media. So that's when I started digging in. I left when they did the stuff with Keegan Kline. I paid attention to the transcripts. That was like the first time I think I'd ever even heard a murder sheet. I was like, oh, they were like, that's a whole nother thing that I have is about watermarking shit that isn't yours, unless you paid for it. If you pay for it, then watermark it. If you took the photo yourself, then watermark it. Don't watermark public documents. But that's a lesson for another day. So I didn't know, and I was like, I'm not buying this guy. I think I've told you guys, I was like, this guy he's not BG. He's not. Now, does he have some secondary thing? Yeah, but I'm like more interested in figuring out who actually was there and who killed the girls. So I kind of was like, all right, I'm not really involved in this. And I backed away, and then I had my own stuff going on in life. And then I had started this channel, and we talked about Delphi to do every case that I care about. I have tried to bring to this channel that I've researched, I've discussed. I've tried to just bring it to this channel and give history on it. So I did a couple lives on it, and then I was like, okay, they made the arrest. Here I am. I have faith in the system. I think that they must have the evidence, so on and so forth. And then I think it was like around August-ish that it came out that the defense team was requesting to have cameras in the courtroom. And from knowing somewhat about Indiana, I was like, they don't have cameras in the courtroom. So I looked at that. And then we had the Idaho thing that was happening where that defense team was fighting against having cameras in the courtroom. And I was like, wait a minute, there's something weird's happening here. And then that was it. And then of course the memorandum came out, and then now you guys, the rest is history. Give me 1 second. My daughter's here. All right. So Sue says, "Oh my God, Christine is on it all the time with Delphi. T, you have to have a flow chart with testimony, like a whole ass trial in front of you, in order for you to see it. Because I like to look at the opposition. I like to see what is happening on the side of And people will say like, well, no, what about this? And I'm like, well, the other side of that is this. So I mean, we have to look at both. You have to be able to see both sides of it to understand anything. Otherwise, you're looking down, one tunnel, and you're not going to see what's on the other side of it because you're not looking around it. Oh, thank you, Travis. But I'm trying to get you guys to understand like how my brain works so that it's not like such a issue. And now I have a tiny person. Give me 1 second. Hi. Okay. Hold on. He would like to say hi to you guys.
Hi.
Tiny human in the house. He just turned 7 on Saturday. He's getting old.
These people?
Yep, those are all people right there.
Can you spell hi?
They said hi. Look at Chelsea said hi. VR said, look at all the highs. Those are all to you.
What did you say? He turned 7.
Yeah, they can hear you because you're on the microphone. They just can't talk. So they're typing to talk. Like when I watch somebody else live and I type.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm live, so they're typing to talk to me.
And you're typing to talk to them?
No, I'm just talking. Like they can just hear you talking. Got it?
Mm-hmm. Why is your screen tiny?
Well, because I was showing something from this screen over here.
Oh, so you want to turn it big?
I wasn't. I was going to show something from over here.
That?
Mm-hmm.
What the heck is this?
It's what I made. I made this. See, it's a lot of stuff. Okay. Can you go now and go find? Did you find your dad? Go find your dad.
Yeah, I found.
Okay. Love you.
I know.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Go, baby. Yeah, my tiny human who thinks he's getting old now and doesn't want me calling him that. Okay. Yeah, that's why I'm like, yeah, I got bigger things to do. Like, that's my last one. He just turned 7. He's too cute. Right, Dean? I know. He's a little sweetie. He's the most ornery kid that I have, honestly. And I call him a Sour Patch Kid because he can go either way real quick. He's very cute and very cuddly, and then he's got like feisty little attitude. So, okay, let me see. Ask your son, how do you make a hink? I will. If he comes back out, I'll ask him. Your smallest is 10? You have a Sour Patch Kid too? Yeah. I don't know. If he had been my first, I don't know if I would have had any more. Your daughter's 32? Oh. They're my babies. Would a medium human please the court? I have one of those too. So, okay. Yeah, he gets fired up like his mama. He does. I'm like, man, why does this kid with this personality have to be the last one? Because I'm going to be like old when he's a teenager. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do it. I have 15, 13, and 7. Okay, so I just wanted you guys to understand like that I need more. I need a lot. So I'm going to pull up my email real quick. And I'm taking these things to try to put them in any type of cohesiveness that makes any sense. So, obviously we'll go back into the leaks. We talked about this yesterday, even though that live isn't up right now, but it's, there is something to the fact that people don't like anybody talking about the leaks, which then intrigues me and I go, wait a minute. Okay. And I get it becomes redundant, and then it also becomes where we're really losing focus on what the whole point of being here is, which is justice for Abby and Libby. But ultimately, if you have one side or the other that's screwing off and bad shit's happening, no matter which side it is, then I think that's important to know. I was talking about like the podcast too. I don't know if that stuff's true. So for me to just say, yeah, you know what, this is how it is, I can't do that. And that's where I fall. Like if that's where you want me to be, I can promise you I'm not the one to hang out with. I'm not the one to befriend. I'm not the one, and I don't mean that in a mean way, but I question everything always, probably too much. And I have to consistently tell myself, like, go back to like Occam's razor. Like it's, this is probably what actually happened. So, and then just, I cannot blindly believe anybody. And that doesn't really matter who you are. See, ATS, like that's the same. I don't want either. I can't do that. So I think that there's an expectation that I'm going to do it, and I just want to lay it out that I'm not. I'm not. I want to know the facts. I want to know the truth. I want to put it in a cohesive timeline that is as honest as I can make it. Now, if there's pieces that I don't have, then I can't put them in my timeline, and I can't use them to form an opinion, which is what frustrates me when people hold back certain pieces of the information they're releasing. If you have the whole thing, release the whole thing. Now, I get it. If you don't have it, like I don't, then here you go. This is the pieces I got. But don't try to piece together what I have to believe about those pieces. And that's probably really confusing because there was a lot of pieces there. It's just that one missing piece. If I don't have that one missing piece, then I can't do it. Adjusted Fate, I appreciate you. And this is where I'm struggling. I think they do. I think they want to drive a narrative. There's certain things that are being said and being used, like the words being used, that make me go, like my ears perk up, and I just go, why would you use that? Why would you say that word? Like, what are people supposed to walk away with if they only have this? So, now, I'm not going to lie. I said it yesterday, and because it's not here, I'm going to say it again. There's two things that are important right now, and they're kind of, well, there's probably three. We should actually say that there's three. There's three things happening that all surround the Delphi case. Two of them are currently happening. One is kind of postponed until the 18th. But you have, obviously, the case itself, and that's a huge, important piece of everything that we're talking about. So I don't want anybody to think like I forgot that or forgot the girls, or I don't care about that part. I do. There's the side pieces, not in that way. There's the side pieces that are, you have all the stuff going on with the Supreme Court and the attorneys, and then you have this whole leak, and maybe those pieces tie together or they don't. I can't say for sure one way or the other. I know that there's definitely a narrative being pushed that, Baldwin's actually behind all of this. Doesn't make sense to me. But is it possible? Absolutely. I can't prove a negative, and I also can't prove that it is. So I think that it kind of falls on the people claiming it that you have to kind of prove it, right? Murder Sheet isn't trying to drive the narrative. They have proof of everything they said in their podcast today. Well, that's kind of Miranda, that's where I'm kind of going, is so they posted these screenshots, which, like I said, I don't even know if I should show them, because now, I'm just like on the outs with Murder Sheet all of a sudden. So not really all of a sudden, but you know what I mean. So they post these screenshots, but I don't know. They're not complete either. They're pieces of stuff. Yeah, I know. Now I got side pieces. Great. Everybody's going to be talking about that. I see. You can't do that either. Yeah, I'm not going to believe your source. I can't do that because I don't know your source to trust them. Right. But here's the thing about, I'm going to go back to Miranda's comment, because so they post these screenshots, which I don't know if I should, if you're, I don't know. Now I'm all like, but they're not full context. And it's another word you're going to hear a ton if you hang out in this channel. Context is important. I could sit here and say, you're a stupid bitch. Or I could say, oh my God, you're so stupid, bitch. Or I could say, I'm really pissed off and then call you that. Or I could be totally joking and whatever and then call you that. I don't know. So if I only get the, hey, you're a stupid bitch part, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so appalled. I can't believe they said that. And that's not even really the way I talk, but I'm just saying, like, this is how things happen. And this is what the whole life was yesterday. It's about making sure that you guys me, all of us, anybody doesn't say, just go in, just going, okay, then, you know, we see it and that must just be what it is. There's more to it. I don't know to say that that's, you know, that that's the whole story. And it goes to how much I now believe what they're saying. And once again, going back to my whole point here, when they talked about the information about the leak, there was important things that were left out or implied. Then there's words that are used that essentially tell you, if you believe opposite, then you believe illusions and rhetoric. My husband gets mad at me for the way I say that word. That's gaslighting. So now my trust is broken, and I can't just blindly believe what is being posted on behalf of that, especially without more context. I'm not. This is another thing. I don't know the people. I've never spoken privately to any of the people that were discussed. Never had a private conversation with any of them. Not that I'm aware of, anyway. I haven't. I've talked to them on public platforms where any of you guys could see me. So I'm not here defending one thing or the other. I'm just saying I don't trust it, because there were certain things that were being used to push a narrative about the leak. Miranda better not be getting attacked. Is Miranda getting attacked? No. You better. No, you're not. No, nobody's going to attack you. If there's somebody attacking you, they'll delete it. Yeah, no. Hi, Shelly. I didn't see you in here. I missed you. Okay. Yeah, you absolutely can. And I really like Miranda. So yeah, no, yeah, don't attack. I'm totally okay with that. Like with her saying what she's saying. That's why I'm telling what my opinion was, how I took it. Yeah, the click statement out of context also. So there's a pattern here that I believe is happening. And if I see this, when the next things come out, I struggle with it. I go, okay, if that happened, is that how it happened? How did it start? Once again, there's a ton of history, obviously, between this group that they were talking about today and Murder Sheet. And ironically, you know, they actually talked to a couple people on there. And Jason Blair made a couple of comments that I really agreed with. It was just like, you know, hey, we can just let's talk it out. We'll break bread. We'll just move on. And I don't hate anybody, and I want everything to be okay, kind of thing. Like, let's just let it go and move forward. I was like, he actually gave the best advice of anything happening, because instead of trying to dig a bigger hole and create more friction, he was trying to stop that from happening. He was just like, no, let's just figure it out and move on. I respected that, even though I don't necessarily agree with other things. Being a skeptic. Oh, Travis, sometimes it gets me in trouble. Yeah, and I see, Kayla, that's a great point too. I belong to the Discord as well. I'm not, that's another thing about me. I'm not great at all these different platforms. You know, I get messages on Twitter and I find them like 4 days later, or whatever. You know, I do my best, but I don't, and I'm definitely not going back in somebody else's Discord to figure out the 2, 3, however long history that people have with everybody. There's no way I'm doing it. So I want to talk about too, that there were some screenshots that Frank from Art of Deduction shared with me. And I want to talk about them. I think he put them on his live. I did not get to see the whole thing. But I want to talk about a couple specific things. And it goes to exactly kind of my point. Maybe I want to talk about it because they're not all loading. There's one that he shows, and it's not loading in my email for some reason. There's one that he shows that is an email, and it's like taken of a screen, and it's kind of sideways. And he makes it clear like that's how he got it. So if that's how he gets it, he obviously knows who sent it to him. He doesn't have to say who sent it to him. I get the whole sources thing. But it's also interesting that if that's the way it's sent, is somebody trying to control a narrative that's being given to him? I don't know, because there's no flow to the conversation. There's no context. If you give me a second, I'll look through here and see if I can get them to load. Here it is, actually. It did load. Hi, Humanimal. It really does. That's actually true. Well, okay, so before I actually bring this up, one thing I want to talk about too is it's another great thing that happened today in that podcast was that they put out about this group of people that they obviously don't like, which fine, don't like them. It's fine. I feel bad for anybody who comes across that podcast and this is the first episode they listen to, because as a creator, I can promise you that the people who listen to this episode first are not going to go back and listen to another episode on that podcast. Like, that's just, if you go into a true crime podcast and you don't know the history of it, you're just going to walk in and that's what you get. That's kind of, that's not really the best representation of what the podcast is. So, but they talk about that there is this group of people had picked a person of interest, picked a pickled peppers. They had picked a person of interest and that they were gung-ho on it. I thought, well, that's really flipping weird that they're mad that these group of people picked a person of interest and dove into it. Because I'm pretty sure that's what most have done, including them with Keegan. Maybe I'm wrong, but I was like, wait a minute. A lot of the information, where have you seen, and we're going to do a whole Keegan thing, so we'll talk about all the Keegan stuff. Well, I hope that, well, yeah, not everybody in there is bad, I don't think, because, I mean, shit, I'm in there, so that means that I'm bad. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's fair, especially because I'm trying to learn as much as I can in a very short amount of time, so that all you guys aren't just all pissed off that I talk to whomever I want to talk to. I'm doing my best. I'm doing my damn best. But anyway, I was like, this is interesting. Like, they're really pissed off that they think that it's Ron Logan. Why does anybody care? Why does that make people mad? You know, and I know another channel that was, you know, very much thought it was another group of people, and they got like overly attacked on Reddit too for thinking it was that person. I don't know if there was like things that happened or things that were said or how it all went down. Once again, there's history that I don't know the context of, but it's just so interesting to me. So if I come on here and say, I think it's so-and-so because this is what I have before Richard Allen was arrested. But if I come on and I say, I think this because this is what I found, like, that means, I don't know why that's bad. Isn't that like kind of what we're doing? Aren't we trying to figure it out? And then they say, like, people keep referring to themselves as investigators. I'm not, I can tell you right now, I'm not an investigator. You can call me a sleuther. You can call me an online sleuther. I get that. And you may even be able to call me an internet crank at this point. Murder sheet. But I'm not an investigator. I don't have that job. The other thing I'm not a victim's advocate. And I think this also gets really lost in the amount of people that cover true crime, because there are people who come on and they discuss things that are really advocating for victims. If anything, if I called myself anything, I really just want, I'm trying to find facts and give it to you. I don't know what you'd call that, but they're not investigators. One is a journalist and one is a lawyer, according to them. They're citizen detectives. Yeah, they're not. Like, you're a YouTuber or a admin of a Facebook group or whatever. We're not investigators. That's not our job. Ain't nobody paying me. Wait a minute. You're a group with. Am I? I don't know that any of that is there. So I'm telling you where I am, and like I said, I did not read back on anything. I don't have any idea. I can tell you that since I've been in there and read comments, there's nothing like that. She's not an investigative journalist unless she was investigating restaurants. No, she's not an investigative journalist. Remember, the podcast was started because they were going to discuss the situations around restaurant stuff. I don't even remember what it was, but because I didn't know about them until the transcript came out. Yeah, she wrote about restaurants. See? There you go. So R.A. is R.A. the killer? Not sure. Is R.A. the bridge guy? Convinced he is. And I think you're totally possible. So here's another thing. So Sleuth Intuition put out a video today where he's showing Richard Allen walking. If you guys don't know the channel, Sleuth Intuition. He put Richard Allen. It's very short, so and that, it's tough because there's just not enough of it. But you see Richard Allen walking, he puts it next to Bridge Guy, and I'm like, this is where you get me pushing like this side of the fence where I think that like he's a little guiltier. And then, and then I have Apophis puts out one showing somebody else walking and Bridge Guy, and I'm like, sons of bitches. Like, I can't make up my mind. Not that I think that everybody walking it or anybody in the blue shirt or blue jacket or the hat, I don't feel that way. I don't think they're all, but I'm telling you, it's like in those little bits and pieces, you can make a case, on social media about any one of them. Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I guess it would be, huh? Well, I don't know the middle name. Was a senior reporter for Business Insider covering Walmart, Target, Costco, Home Depot, Lowe's, and IKEA. Yeah, I didn't know that. Right. No, I think it's the best thing to help us look at things as a bigger picture. But that seems to get condemned, and I don't really like that. No one was forced to be in that Discord. If you found the humor not to your taste, you can leave, unless you were sent there to take screenshots in hopes of embarrassing members. Hi, CJK. I want to be an investigator. Maybe because there's channels that actually have like investigates in the name. People think that. I don't know, but no, we're not. I guess it's a self-title you give yourself. I don't know. And this is true, Travis. I try to say this. According to Judge Gold, channels like MS are not journalists, legitimate media. And so the First Amendment privileges don't apply. Wasn't much response from them on that. No. Isn't that interesting? Why isn't there any commentary on that? To like actually show, you actually still have your First Amendment right anyway, and that she was a journalist. I'm not affiliated with them, but I do believe that most of those screenshots are real. That's okay, Miranda. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with if you believe they're real. And I'm not saying they're fake. I don't mean that somebody created these and put them out there. What I think is there's always some issues with context. Oh, so that's what I was going to show you. Sorry. Sidetracked. Squirrel. I think I downloaded it already. So he emailed me these, and I get that he's trying to like show a pattern of certain things, but it's not enough for me. And I don't mean that to be mean. It's not. I need something else. So I'm going to show you guys this. So I think he showed this one on his live too, but it's like a partial email with a date on it. I don't know who it's from. I don't know who it's to. I can't even see the entire line of it. But I think, here's the thing is, I think that why can't I, there it is. No, they didn't, but they arrested the guy who killed him. They still never found him. Hi, Marshall. There will be pushback from here on with all cases, and keeping corruption from the public. These days are over now. Watchdog groups, especially here on cases with many searching for truth, is needed. Maybe that's the investigator piece of it. No, I didn't. I didn't hear. Detective Teresa. Only Inspector Gadget is actually an investigator. Well, actually, he's an inspector. I'm reading to see it to make sure that it is really easy. That's a struggle, because this is when you start to just have to start having faith in the people. You have to, if you don't have it, and I don't know the people to say I trust them. And this is kind of where I was going with that whole thing. I thought she was. That's what I thought. Inspector Gadget. See, you could be an investigator, I think. Okay, so I don't really know what this is. I can give them to you, but especially if you screenshot, I'm assuming something crime foreshadowing. Also, you have to mention something. Art of deduction, I don't know if you've left or if you can help explain what this is that I'm looking at or some context around it, but I don't know. Also, you have to mention something after the murders. We have a team of 250 paid somethings to us since a couple of years after the murders. I see that this looks like a Robert up here, but I mean, shit. I don't know if that's enough to give. So this is what I mean. I get that this means something. Right, I'm not going to assume, but I'm using it as my point of this means something to whoever sent it, and this means something probably to Art of Deduction who received it. But if you look at how this is what I have, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what it means. I don't have any context. I don't understand where it came from. This is where I get stuck. And so I get that people are trying to prove something here, but I don't know what it is. Is it Robert Lindsay? No idea. No, I have no clue. Is that Robert Lindsay's? I thought his was the paper block. Does he have more than one? There is no context to my point. Yeah. It's just lost. So I just want you guys to know, if you send me something, please, I need something that goes along with it. I don't know. Is it? So that maybe that has something to do with it. I think from what I can see, it says happy holidays to all. It does? I don't know. But I just want, like I said, he sent it to me and told me to show it. He wanted me to show it because this is why I said I get that he's trying to prove something to me. I just don't know what it is. And so I think that it frustrates people because I need much more to just go, okay. And I'm trying to show you guys why I need more. So here's the other thing about these leaks, and the reason that I can't leave Mark Robert Cohen's name out my mouth is because he's attached to every one of them. This isn't like, oh my gosh, poor Mark, he was sent these things from somebody that he didn't really know, and then he contacted Murder Sheet to do the right thing. That's not how it went. And if I could play Murder Sheet, I would tell you, or I would show you that they literally say that after he contacts them with the pictures, that they convince him. I can't say it verbatim. This is not a quote. I did not write this down. You'd have to go back and listen. It says like that he realized the right thing to do was to go to law enforcement. He did not. You can read it. Oh, maybe I could do that. Right. He's attached to all of them since there was a defense team. So do I think that Mitch Westerman went in there and took pictures? I do. Do I think that Mitch Westerman sent those pictures to Robert Fortson? I do. Do I think that Robert Fortson was working for the defense? I don't. Is it possible? Maybe. Doesn't really make any sense in the context of what we already have, but maybe. Do I think that Robert Fortson sent them to Mark? I do. Do I think that Mark sent them to other people? I do. And simply because that is literally what the probable cause affidavit says. So why would I distrust it if I'm supposed to trust law enforcement? So I just can't trust the law enforcement that wrote the Mitch Westerman one that says that Mark Robert Cohen is the person who sent them out. Also, there was a caveat in the Murder Sheet podcast yesterday that says they don't have proof of who the crime scene photos were sent to, that all Robert Fortson essentially admitted was that he had sent information to another person as well. But they said, we don't know if it's the crime scene photos. We don't have that or whatever. Once again, I'm not quoting it because I didn't write it down. So what's going on? Right, but I think when he did that, because he did, and I'll still stand by whether people like Rick Snay or not, I still think that Rick Snay was used. My opinion, Rick Snay was used to push out something that they didn't, that they wanted out, and I think that they thought his ego would let it go out there, that he was the first to have it. And I think he fooled them when it came to not putting it out there. He said they were sent by someone sympathetic to the defense. He also changes it from being an anonymous person to somebody he has talked to, says it's a female. I don't know. And once again, then you have to go to the source of that. There's no proof that says any of that. It was originally the 4th. It changed to the 5th. So that's just on who do you believe? What do you want to believe? And that's completely fine. Without the facts behind it, you have a right to believe whatever the hell you want to believe. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you don't, because that's your right. He said he was sick last I saw. He was going to do a live, he said last week, but then he said he was sick. Make sure that you understand what I'm saying there. It doesn't excuse anything else. I'm saying in that situation. Yeah, he knows who sent him to him. Absolutely. Right. I agree with that 100%. I'm not in Canada. Are you in Canada? I get that. I appreciate that. Mystic Firefly. I have no idea. I'm so far removed from all of that. I have no clue. Right, you're right. It doesn't protect all speech, but it does give a lot of leeway. And I will tell you from following other court cases that things that are said in private that are not always protected, or I should say not always available to be attacked by the opposition of hate speech and things like that. Because what the court has said, and not everywhere, but it has, that things that are said in private aren't meant for the other people to see. So there's a whole bunch of little minute things there. Yeah, don't talk about the leaks. Don't talk about Mark Robert. There's this, I don't know what that is about, but he's literally attached to every leak. So if I go, okay, Chris Todd had the clothing photos, we'll say. So Chris Todd is attached to the clothing photos if we choose to believe that he didn't have the other ones. Once again, it's your personal choice. Can't prove a negative. It is what it is. Hi, Avery. So that's one instance where you got one name attached to it. Okay. Then you have the next one. The thumb drive map. Now you have Brandon Woodhouse is involved in this, right? That's one name that's attached to it. You have the F tree. Robert Fortson is involved in this. Okay. You have the crime scene photos. Mitch Westerman and Robert Fortson are involved in this. Here's the thing. Mark Robert Cohen is involved in all of it. I don't know how that is not just that is what it is. I don't know how to get around it. He's involved in all of it. All right, let me catch up with you guys. Hold on. Okay, I guess it is. So who's paper blog then? Somebody just sent me the Beyond Highbrow, and maybe I was just confused because I thought that his was the paper blog. Whose is the paper blog? Well, I doubt that Woodhouse has too many. Well, I think his dad was actually a retired sheriff, maybe. Don't quote me on that. I don't really know. I just remember him mentioning something about his dad being a cop because my dad was also a cop. The screenshot there were they released Murder Sheet put the screenshots in their Facebook group. I'm not going to share them. Because God only knows what they'd get pissed off that I shared screenshots. I don't know. So if somebody has them and wants to send them to each other or whatever, by all means, go ahead and do it. I don't know. I'm not showing them because I don't. Because my head already hurts from yesterday, so I'm not getting into it again. But Here's the thing with Miranda. I get like that is your feeling. You totally have the right to that feeling. Please don't make Miranda feel like she doesn't have the right to that feeling. She doesn't. It's just don't fight with each other. Let's just get back to normal. Yeah, Scottish Queen. Who's the writer of that one? Hi, Jenny. They really can't strike me for a screenshot, but I'm just not feeling it. Well, hey, at least you make this one. It's not gone. This is the link to this over here. It's the most up-to-date one as of the 18th at night, I think it is. I'm in disbelief at the lengths to which the burger sheet is going to. Dudes, you are the news. People will talk about you. That's what fair use commentary is. I know. That's what I'm like, that's on them. I guess we'll see how far they really want to take it. They'll send the National Guards. They're like, oh my gosh, she showed a screenshot from our Facebook group. I think that's where my confusion came from. Thank you, Carol. Scottish Queen, you're funny. Yeah, he's both. That makes a lot more sense. He tried to appear as Brandon. Well, another thing that I think people didn't really hear was the communication between Robert Fortson and Mark Robert Cohen. They discuss how they're going to leak the tree and how they're going to screenshot things and put them out, and like they have like a whole like conversation about it. They also say that in this that they believe that there is enough to cover Mark Robert Cohen posting it because he's already posted stuff from the Discovery Index, that people will just believe it came from there. So, like, how fucking misleading are you? I don't get it. You're intentionally trying to mislead people into believing shit that isn't true. I'm sorry, that does not make a good person to me. Oh, really? I didn't really, unless you have the name on it. I know they can do like a, if you have somebody's full name, they can do a privacy claim where the creator can just go back in and mark it out. But I'm not doing it. You guys can send them to each other. I'm sure they're probably actually all over Reddit. They're probably in Facebook groups. That other channels might show them, but because I pissed them off, I just don't. I don't care to try to piss them off. Like I said, I'm not here to fight with people. Right. Yeah. Don't say anything bad ever. So this is very interactive. You just have to know that it's not done. So I tried to play with it on the phone because I think most people do look at it on the phone, and I think you have to do a lot of the clicking like this. I don't know if that's how it is, but it takes you like from screen to screen. If that's, I mean, for me, like on the computer, it's quick and easy. I just can scroll back out, and then I can tap on stuff, and I can just go in and then dig further and then dig further. So I don't know if you can do that on the phone. So, but so talking about empty, like this is all I have in here right now for Keegan Klein. There's nothing else in here. I'll add to it, but I don't, Sandifers, I don't have anything in there yet on them. This one obviously does not have enough. There's not enough here because I'm still putting it all together. So just know that it's not done, and it's ever changing. I think most of these are done. I realized the other day that I didn't actually finish. No, it's not here. Oh, I didn't finish Kelsey. That's what I realized I hadn't finished. Like, so there were some things here like, yeah, so Kelsey's not done. So just know, if you're looking at it, it's not complete. If you see something that you think is wrong, or you have something that counters what is in there, please send it to me. Please just let me know that, or if you have something that you believe absolutely should be added. You want to contribute to the legal section? Oh my gosh, I would be honored. I would be honored. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I do it all on the computer. So, but I just want you guys to know, like, I do try to add to it very consistently. This has all been added. I've been trying to add in all the law enforcement. This is actually what I was working on. Added all the press conferences. Here, you can do you come into the legal side. You can help me out on anything that needs to be done in there. Conservation officers. You can go in here, but it's still empty. I haven't got to it yet. So if there's anything that you think is important, anything that you've saved over time, anything that that you think is missing or inaccurate, I'm trying to get this to be the most accurate as I possibly can with the history of the case and how it all ties together, and then give it to you. You couldn't pick, yeah, try it that way. Yeah, you gotta, that's the only thing. Because otherwise, if you're going like this, it only sucks because of the empty ones. So like if you go in here, it's gonna take you to the next one, then you gotta go back out, and then you gotta go to the next one, and you gotta go back out, and it's empty still, so that kind of becomes redundant. But once it's done, it will, I mean, obviously you can do that too, but since it's not done, that becomes kind of a nuisance. But it is public. But what I realized the other day, and I was mentioning it on yesterday's live that got taken down, is I didn't realize that the link is, I'll show you. So if I go to get a link, if I give you guys the first link, it only gives you to what I made up until that point. Does that make sense? So I realized, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta actually create, when I add stuff to it, I gotta actually create a new link for you. Otherwise, it doesn't. You're looking at stuff that it's not updated and it hasn't been added. So I gotta get you the new ones. That's it. So it's really just like I said, it's whatever. This isn't just for me. It's whatever you guys can contribute, whatever you have that you're like, oh my God. So like here, I'll show you one thing that I think is like super intriguing when it comes to like things that you cannot find anymore. Witnesses. So I've talked about this guy a couple of different times, that David Riley, that in the original statements that were released via social media, the girls, the four girls had stated they actually saw a guy there walking his dog. And I was like, why doesn't anybody talk about this guy? Well, I realized the interview that he actually gave on the news, I think it was WLHR. Shit, I have to go back and look now. It's gone. The link is not there, and I can't even find it in the Wayback Machine. I'm like, why is this guy's interview gone? Like, how freaking weird is that? Yeah, so he was there walking his dog. So it says, I was on the trail the day they were killed, said Riley. He said he didn't see or hear anything. I talked to the police twice and gave them DNA and all that stuff, said Riley. I was at the other end of the trail. They were by the High Bridge. I was by the Freedom Bridge. Like most would be in his position, he can't help but wonder, what if? What if I turned the other way? What would have happened? It's been a slow year for him. Da, 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 da. Anyway, so my point is, if you happen to be somebody who has that interview and you're like, hey, I could totally contribute to this and add the interview in, that's an interesting. Oh yeah, no. Is there a question about that? Let me see. They came into the Discord, made a comment saying, we're going to talk about you and others in an upcoming podcast. Anyone have anything to say? No one had anything to say to them, and then they left. I know that part. No, it wasn't an AI one, but yes, that's possible for certain things, but it would not strike it that way, because what it would do is claim it. So like when I've played other clips of, like when I was talking about like the Al Pacino clip, I highly doubt whoever owns that clip is out there looking to see who did it. It's a bot that it is AI that can come and claim it. But they claim it, and that they do is because they want the revenue. Murder Sheet didn't try to claim it because they wanted the revenue, which is what the bot would have done. They actually struck it, and they had to fill out a copy. You had to fill out a copyright strike form. And when I was with my other channel, I did it. I know, and it's tedious. You have to go in there and you have to fill it all out, and you have to have the link to where you have it, and you have to have the link to what they're showing, and then you have to put the timestamps in there. And instead of putting the timestamps in there, they just put the entire live, which is a false copyright. So yes, you're right that AI bots can copyright claim, but they do not copyright strike. That's a big difference there. So no, Murder Sheet copyright struck it. Now, does that, and I tried to say this at the beginning of this, they probably have people who work for them. I know most people who have bigger podcasts and whatnot, bigger channels, they have people who work and do things. Now, did somebody else do it on behalf? I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. I was wondering why you were asking me about that crime scene pic, that my outline was scary accurate. Was it for this? I think it's great. Yeah, I'm trying to put everything in here. When the strike actually came through, Sleuthy and I were discussing, ironic, we weren't discussing them anymore. That was way at the beginning. So we were discussing, we were talking with chat about the murder charge and how it's charged. And Travis was actually going to help us understand it better. And then then the live went down. And right before that, we were showing documents about the gag order versus the protection order. So and you have to think, because we were in the middle of talking, and all of a sudden I was like, I can't see shit on StreamYard. I don't know what's going on, but the comments are gone. And she's like, wait, somebody just messaged me that your live got taken down. On my end, because I'm in StreamYard, her and I are, the counter's still going. Her and I are just having a good old conversation. So, yeah. Yeah, and that's what we were talking about. So I don't even know where it ended. And I don't know. And because YouTube took the live down, I have no access to when it actually stopped. I have access to what was recorded in StreamYard, which is what I downloaded and am editing so that I could put it back up. But I don't know where it actually ended. I know where I said I don't have access to StreamYard anymore. Or I mean, I don't have whatever the hell's going on. So, yes, I suspect there was a conspiracy to snuff the legal truth. I was here but forgot. Yeah, I was here too. I couldn't tell you either. I think Harvey got offended when he worked so hard and found out Unified Ellie was lying and using him. Here it is. Travis, I really like you. Yeah, we're talking about proving kidnapping versus vindictive. Say what I was saying. I think I left the next clip after the live ended. I think I left it in the edit. I do. I have to take. Can we do a poll? Yeah. What do you want it to be? What do you want to do a poll on? Ooh. Really? Is that the one that is attached to the Franks memo? Because this, if that's the one that's attached to the Franks memo, I remember talking about it. I remember talking about it because my brain isn't working, on the audio, the dispatch audio or the communications that were released, they're also talking about bringing rope. So like, was there something that, I don't know. I always wondered that. Is that the one you're talking about? Let me see. What did we want to do a poll on, Lucy? You got screenshots from the live chat? It got heated about a gag order, a protective order in chat. Ask everyone if they believe the state has to prove Richard Allen kidnapped and killed them. I hope not. That people have got to, if that's, I hope that's not true, first of all. And second, people have got to stop with the personal attacks on anybody. Let's just stop with that. Like, why? The kids have nothing to do with it. Leave my fucking kids alone. I'll leave your kids alone. Leave my mom alone. I'll leave your mom alone. Like, let's just, nobody needs to be going after anybody on any type of personal level. I can send you if you have email. I do. It's criminality187@gmail. Bob was also starting to explain something much better than I ever could, and I'm trying to remember what that was, that it's the protective order and the way they work. Oh, he was talking about that it's really, the protective order is really kind of geared towards the state or the defense, because the state is handing them discovery, and it's already like essentially the rule of thumb that the state cannot share any of the discovery from the time of arrest until the time of trial. So he was talking about that. And so he said that might be why it sounds like it's more geared towards the defense team. Shelly. Evidence given to them from the state. Yeah. Evidence handed out. Yeah. So I have faith that the truth will come out someday. I do too. WLFI. Thank you, Love to Hunt. That's where there's an interview. Was I seriously? I fucking put the link in there. I put the link in there, and then I didn't even click it to show you that it's not there. I found the link like on Reddit. I forgot that I even did that. There you go. Yeah. So there it is. 404. Couldn't find it. Dumb. So silly. Okay, so you want me to do a poll? Hi, Betty. I'll be honest. I don't always act like a grown-up. I try, but sometimes I have to talk myself back into it. No, your mama. I've been trying to bring back the blonde jokes because my daughter's a blonde. She doesn't get them at all. It's so freaking hilarious. I'm like, that's exactly it. We were talking about MS's very specific wording when asked if the state or law enforcement had ever provided them evidence from the beginning of the investigation. We did talk about that towards the end. That's true. Now, I have that also. Now, where did I put it? Oh, I know what I did with it. I know what I did with it. Here it is. Encore TV, Murder Sheet stated, nobody on the prosecution side has ever leaked to us discovery materials that was protected by an order from a judge. So I was like, there's a specific qualifier, like, oh, but they have actually given you discovery, just not when it was protected by an order from the judge. Are they helpful or not? You don't have to delete them. Did you send them in my email? No, that's fine. I'll look at them. Yeah. Yeah, they added a qualifier, and people were like, they didn't get anything. And I was like, no, that means they did. Otherwise, they'd just be like, we've never gotten anything. Yeah, and Travis called it the worst drafted protective order in of in the history of Indiana's jurisprudence. Bob called it poorly drafted. That's not discovery if no one is arrested. Well, it depends, because that you look at the Keegan Klein stuff that they were talking about, he was arrested, just not for this. So I don't know. There's like a catch-22 in there that, like, for real? I tell her I love her. She's like, all right, you're gonna need some coffee to deal with this shit. No, I have no idea, but the link is in here. That's all. I didn't even realize I'd put the link in there. He wasn't, but he was still arrested, and that information. Well, no, I understand. I agree. And if it was just like the Ron Logan information, I would even more agree, because, well, even though he was arrested for something else, but like the search warrant was actually totally pertaining to Delphi, the murder. So I would totally give you that one. The Keegan Klein stuff, because there's so much in it, I struggle with it. That's the one I'm like, eh. The order, well, okay, so there's two orders. There's a gag order that was actually put in place on December 1st. That essentially just tells the lawyers, and they put the family under a gag order, which is really not normal, I don't think. Travis, you help me out there? And so that was December 1st. So that means, like, you can't tell the media, you can't go out there and put your statements out there, so on and so forth. And then in February, they put a protective order over discovery, which is also interesting. That why did that take so long to get a protective order over discovery? Yeah. Well, they also said that in the leak they received discovery materials. They said that on court TV. I don't know. There's just something fishy about that whole thing. Defendants have a right to discovery. There has to be a defendant. Right. So if Keegan Klein is arrested for crimes and they believe that he has something obviously to do with Delphi, which is why his case number comes up in those files, is it okay to release stuff about Keegan Klein? Is that not part of his discovery? Was that under a protective order, I guess? I don't know. I think we're going with semantics here. I could see it either way, I guess. It'd be G. I guess my question would be is, hi, Amber Riot. My question is, it's just going to, I don't know. I don't even know how to actually ask that question. So the comment that was made was, nobody on the prosecution side has ever leaked to us discovery materials that was protected by an order from a judge. The qualifier is important, in my opinion, because I don't think you'd need a qualifier if you had never been. If you were never leaked materials anyway. Does that make sense? I see you and I'm proud of you. Well, thank you, Amber. All right, hold on. I'm trying to see what you guys are saying. So I don't really know how to word my question, because it would be because I don't even know if there's actually an answer, because nobody can really say if Keegan Kline is involved or has any connection to it, because we don't know that he isn't yet have any connection. So I don't even know if there's actually a question that can really be asked. I don't know. That's why I said I think we're going to go with semantics here on whether they were leaked information. Discovery materials, like, I don't know. I don't even know if I don't know if I can ask the question. That's probably what Mariah's saying. Like, hey, you can't add both in there. Devils is in the detail. The lawyers speak to protect their sitting surface, tells stories. I think that's what kind of rubs me in that way of like, why are you saying it that way? I would love to. Tim confirmed that Tony Kline often used drugs and alcohol with Keegan's friends. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Like, no, not semantics. Someone smarter than me here. It's context. So here are some examples. Okay. Maybe. Well, I think that the point of it would be that he was hanging out with his kids' friends, smoking weed and drinking. That could be kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't. My dad's hanging out with me and my friends when I'm 20, 21, smoking and doing drugs. I don't know. I did go to a bar with my dad when I was 21. I'm waiting to see what Travis says about his examples. They started with KK because Anthony Schott's linked with Libby. Just because he wasn't charged with Delphi doesn't mean he's not related to the case. Well, there's definitely something that puts him in relation to the case. There's no doubt that he's somehow connected. On where that falls in the line of how much, I don't know, but he's on the discovery index from the defense team. So they obviously gave some type of discovery or discussed some type of discovery regarding Keegan Kline that was going to be handed over. Now, does that mean that it's exculpatory evidence? I have no idea what the hell it means. We could sit here and go over it all night. Yeah, you guys. Hi, Queen Bee. Yeah. So, but I mean, is there more to it than that? What's the length it goes to? You know what I mean? What's the length of the involvement? I don't know. Is it just are they giving it over because this is part of the investigation and that's what they're handing over, or is there some bigger connection that we're unaware of? And I do believe also that a lot of deals are made with inmates on charges, and even charges they're already convicted of, that don't actually go through until there's testimony and conviction. We saw that with like the Zachariah Anderson case. Like that guy, that jailhouse snitch, his deal was signed after he testified. Hi, Zero Cool. Okay. So discovery are things that have to be turned over by DA to defense. There can be things in discovery that existed prior to the crime, prior to an arrest. Okay, so this is a good point. So this is kind of what we were talking about. Thank you. Okay. So there can be discovery materials that exist prior to the arrest. Okay. So let's say that LE obtains screenshots from someone's phone of a text conversation. They're going to get a copyright strike, Travis. They better be careful what they do with that. I don't know that whole story, and I'm not overly familiar with her, so I can't really talk on it. Hey, Remy. Yeah, I can tell you, I agree with you there. Okay, so the screenshots are part of discovery and sent to defense counsel. The person who provided the screenshots can give those screenshots out to anyone they wish. Okay, but if it's not under a protective order, because there's no arrest yet, right? This is kind of what we were talking about with Mariah. Mariah, are you still here? Because I don't want to misquote you. That if there's no protective order on these screenshots, so can these screenshots be given to a podcaster from law enforcement or the prosecution side because there is no protective order? Are you allowed to do that by releasing information in any capacity you want, right? Yeah, can't keep us down, Remy. Hey, Angel, yeah, I agree. Marshall's up, so I'm waiting to find out RA's links to all of this. Yeah, I am literally in the position where there's a few things that I really need to just tip me in one direction or the other. That's where I'm at. Tornado! Okay, if there's no arrest, then there's no discovery. So no protective order. So Ellie, before there was an arrest, leaked interviews, let's say. Oh, that's a violation of department policy. There's no law. Got you. Okay, so then what are your thoughts on putting that little qualifier sentence into a statement? Why would, and not about them, but why would anybody need to put that in if because it's still discovery material? I see. Okay, I think that I'm picking up what you're putting down. I am. So it's still discovery material that would go against company policy. And so the qualifier is to say that they were never given anything that was under protected by a judge. This makes sense. All right. You guys just get, I don't know why you guys like to fight so much. I hate fighting. They might as well have added the word yet at the end. Okay. Given how sanctimonious they were about the leak to begin with, their qualifier makes me very suspicious, coupled with unverified assertions that they pay for stuff like this. Yeah, that unverified, absolutely. Okay, Mariah, you are still here. Okay. So what you were saying, I'm picking up what you're putting down now. I got you. They're saying they've not been given anything from prosecutors since RA's arrest, since the protective order. But, and also, so it would not be a law thing. It would be like a department thing, if it's even a department thing. I got it. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Took me a minute to get there, but I got there. Hi, Ramblin' Rome. It's okay. I'm about to wrap it up. You guys can catch it on the replay, but on for 2 hours. I'm gonna go make some pasta. And I just, you guys, it's just so stressful when people just can't, everybody just go enjoy your evening. I mean, I tell you guys this a lot, and I really, really mean it. I hope that for Christmas this year, or any holiday that you celebrate around this time of year, go out, find somebody that you would not normally be nice to on social media, and be nice to them for a moment and just see what happens. Just try it. Just try it and just see what happens. Because I'm telling you guys, like, it's just fighting over a case, fighting over this kind of stuff. It's just not, it's not, I get that it's taken to such a freaking personal level at this point. There's no going back, but just try. That's my advice. That's all I got for you. I'll put this in here. I don't even make homemade eggnog. I just drink it from the store. Hi, Frosty. Oh, goodness. Over screenshots. I just didn't think that you could. I thought that had to be a privacy strike for names. But I'm going to wrap it up because I like so many of you guys. I don't want you guys fighting with each other, especially not here. Just want to be able to talk with you guys, share info, collaborate, or what do you call it? Collaborate and listen. Isn't that what Vanilla Ice said? I just... Deep breaths. Go enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. I probably will not be here tomorrow unless something pops off. I probably will not be here tomorrow. I'll be back most likely on Friday. I think we're going to make Christmas cookies tomorrow and go look at this. We have like a neighborhood by us that just totally decorates like all out for Christmas. So we're going to go look at Christmas lights with the kids. So I probably won't be on here tomorrow unless something pops off during the day early when they're at school. Other than that, I will be back on Friday. I appreciate you guys being here. I know that you guys could spend your time in 1,000 other places. Even if you don't like each other, I still appreciate you being here because I like all of you. Have a good one. Go enjoy the rest of your night.